any further.
Welcome back to the coverage of YCS Rimini 2015. First YCS of the season, and we're down to the final four. 3 Italians, 1 Moldovan is the correct way of saying it, I think.
I don't know.
Apparently nobody knows for certain. But Giorgio Dascal is living in Rome. So as Alessandro Garanzini just pointed out in our last feature match, he's part of the family. So in a way, we only have Italians left.
Yep.
Since we're a little bit behind the main event, well, the other one match, we're straight going to take you to the feature match where Andrea Zanotti is sitting on the left and Giorgio Dascal is sitting on the right. Zanotti is playing Nekroz, whereas Dascal is playing Burning Abyss. Yes, that's, I hope, all the information we need going into this. There's a diffusion that was an important card last game, and we're going to switch it now to the new cards that these guys are holding on to.
Nice pretty pattern there. Look at that. Glorious.
All right. And it looks like Giorgio, by the way, just won against Matteo Vernizzi, who is playing Nekroz. That's not the real story. The real story is that Matteo was kicking out Joshua Schmidt before that, and then after that he was defeating Piran Aski in our feature match.
Yep.
So he was, so to speak, the legend killer in the tournament. Just now he went to time against Giorgio. And in the third and deciding duel, he did find an mech-equipped engineer defending himself, because that card is really good if you have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
And popping the ritual monster by sending material to the graveyard. It's what I just saw, like walking by the last action of this match.
Yeah.
All right, so Giorgio Dascal kicking things off, Burning Abyss. We haven't seen Burning Abyss in a little while.
No, he has a massive amount of monsters in his hand here. He's going to be able to open up with quite a few Dantes here. Probably empty his hand as well.
Right, and did he go second and Andrea just passed? Because he has 6 cards? 5 cards in hand and tour guide on the field?
Yeah, that does look like.
And let's take a but why would Andrea just pass if he has a Senju?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, something's a little bit odd here.
Oh, maybe the Upstart Goblin was played and we just didn't see it, but I don't see it in the graveyard, so yeah. Oh, cool. We don't actually have these players' deck lists in front of us right now. He's playing Absolute King Blackjack, I think is the name, or the Blackjack King, somewhere around there. It allows you to rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck, and then also during your opponent's turn, you can banish Absolute King Blackjack to mill the top card of your deck. If it is a trap card, a normal trap card, I think it has to be normal, you can set it and activate it that turn.
Right. Yeah, it's also not a card that we see very often.
No, it was very popular. I say very popular around my locals in Burning Abyss. Quite a lot. People were playing up to 3 copies of it.
Okay, but like not at the larger tournaments, right?
No, I don't think we've seen it very much. I think the Americans used it quite a lot, but we've not really picked up on that yet.
Okay, well, I'm still wondering about that extra card.
I do wonder. I don't think he's going second here because the Dante is in defense position, and it was summoned in defense position. So
yeah. If he goes second, he would just attack here. Yeah. Right. So maybe one of the cards that he's supposedly having in his hand, he is not actually having in his hand.
Yeah. So he's rearranging the top 3 cards of his deck here. Which probably doesn't matter because he's going to go into another Dante. Oh no, he's going to play. That's a good play. So he does have that Upstart Goblin. So he plays the Upstart Goblin to draw the card that he wants, and then he can mill the other 2.
Definitely not bad. And
yeah, so
yet another special summon.
Sfafa.
Yeah, Maxi is so good against Burning Abyss.
Okay. He's going into Tri-Edged Levier. Wow, okay. Not seen this card in a very, very long time. So Triage Levia is a little bit like a giant hand on legs. Let me just get that card text up. Okay, here we go. So you can banish any monster that it destroys by battle, and once per turn during either player's turn, you can attach a material from this card and target a face-up monster on the field. It loses 800 attack, and its effects are negated until the end of the turn, which is fantastic that it makes it lose attack points, because that means it can be used in the damage step.
Yeah, and is that card worth 3 materials?
Yes.
That came like out of a pistol. All right, and back to Giorgio is now left with 3 cards in hand, according to our app. Is that the correct count now? 3, 4. I think that's correct. Suddenly,
It's hard to say because Dante milled, and he could have milled like graphs and stuff.
but
Right, so you see Triad Levia here, negating that effect straight away, and then graphs effect. I do wonder why that Scarm is not being destroyed. Unless it was summoned with Livic, which must be the case.
yeah, possibly the only real explanation.
Yep.
And Burning Abyss is such a versatile deck. All of these different fiends that you can bring out. Here's just Scarm, one of the most important ones.
Yeah, so Scarm is the one that during the end phase you can search.
So that was Fafa, I think. Just
Yeah, to take away that Senju.
it's really like I'm stripping you of all your plays. And then it's gonna be back to Giorgio in just a second.
Okay, so we're just looking to get one of our judges to grab the deck lists here. So back to the action. We see Andrea going searching with that Nekroz of Clausulus. So let's have a look at his hand here and see where the options are. So he has a Great Sorcerer, Unicorn, Shurit, Cycle, Kaleidoscope. So he can make the Kaleidoscope play with Unicorn, which will shut down that Triad Levia. But there is a Maxi, so that's really
it's like Giorgio has all the answers.
Yeah, really gonna put some spanners in the work there. But he will just be able to attack over that Triad Levia reasonably safely. As soon as Unicorn's on the field, there's not much that the Burning Abyss deck can do without using Rockstar of the Burning Abyss to get over the Unicorn, because obviously Dante is going to be negated by Unicorn, and he's not big enough by himself to be able to get over that Unicorn.
And Burning Abyss is forcing the Nekroz players to play like very differently.
Yeah, especially after that Max C and the Triad Levia as well. That's a really good choice to make that in the opening move.
All right, let's check what Giorgio is still holding on to. He's got a Seer and a Foolish Burial. Those are the only 2 cards. But it's still Andrea's turn, of course. And just now he went for Trishula. And I think we're not going to see a response here. There's a Phoenix Wind Blast. But
so here's a Bryonac. Brionac's going to be able to use its effect to send back that Triad Levia and the Dante back to his extra deck.
The absent for a second was Trishula and I.
Okay, so he's debating using Phoenix Wind Blast here. So yeah, he's decided in the end to use that Phoenix Wing Blast, and that gets negated by a Trishula. So there is potential here for a Fafa play. I think there's another Fafa in the graveyard there, but we'll see.
Right, and now we're going in, moving to the battle phase.
I think he's still thinking about the Finish Wind Wing Blast.
Oh, it just looked like it because he moved
Yeah,
the
he was,
monsters,
he
yeah.
was lifting him up.
All right. And sometimes it's really hard to tell who is ahead in this situation.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. With Burning Abyss, they just kind of stick around for a very long time, and only when you've managed to get rid of them all is it usually that they can finally just be dealt with, and then you can produce an OTK.
Yeah, suddenly the field of Giorgio has been cleared completely.
Yeah, been reduced down to just a Scam. And so back before the Forbidden Unlimited list, a couple of months back, we used to be able to play multiple tour guides, but Burning Abyss lost the ability to do that a little while ago. So Scam doesn't really have a great target to search in the end phase after you've already used your one tour guide of the Underworld.
All right. And Andrea still has some cards in his hand with Great Sorcerer or the Nekroz card you don't want to draw into, but it doesn't really hurt that much at this point in time with the big advantage on the field. And another Bryanak.
So there's that Senju now. He might be able to make some plays. So I think, he already used his Absolute King Blackjack. So searching through his graveyard there was just to confirm so that he can go and have a search with Scam. I don't know, why didn't he add anything with Senju? I feel like either he did really quickly and I just didn't notice.
There was Tri-Edge Levia. Didn't that negate?
I think, I'm really confused because I thought that he just put that Senju on the board.
But is it just returned to the board or is it being
summoned?
summoned?
Oh, of course. It was Farfa that banished it temporarily.
So it didn't get
course.
Normal summon this time.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the confusion. Okay, so he gets the Rubik here. So Rubik is the one that's going to allow him to make a synchro play into the Rockstar of the Burning Abyss, Virgil.
So that's definitely good news.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to get him over the Unicorn.
And he's starting his turn with the Foolish.
Yeah. So that's just to send that graph there, or it was send a graph or a Sir to get back this Scam. He's going to put Rubik straight on top
all
of
of that is happening lightning fast. And we're looking for the white card.
Drop the Virgil.
Yeah.
He's going to lay down some tunes on that Unicorn.
Yeah, it's not the most pleasant tune, I guess, because it's going to leave the field.
Yep. Unicorn has left the building.
Right. And so Giorgio is fighting back now, reducing at least a little bit the life points of Andrea, still sitting on a very comfortable 8,800. So
he's also able to use Virgil's effect to send back the Bryanak into the deck of Andrea. And he discarded a graph using that effect, so he can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from his deck, and he goes and chooses to get Scam.
And the interesting thing is, suddenly the tables have turned again, the tiles turned again, and the Burning Abyss monster, Burning Abyss deck is suddenly ahead again with monsters on the field, and also with the breakthrough skill that he still has in his hand, so he's got some sort of protection.
That's very important.
It's going back and forth like that between the most powerful decks half the time.
Okay, so let's see what happens here. He might be going for a rank 4 play. It's the most likely option. Or there's no other option really with those two. Let's see what he goes for.
He did draw into a Bryanak.
Yeah. So he's got a Bryanak and a Unicorn. That's enough to make a decent play here. So he's going to use Diamond Direwolf, and that's actually really detrimental. Not only because Diamond Direwolf doesn't get to destroy a card, he also doesn't manage to clear his board so that he can use the Nekroz mirrors from his graveyard.
Right, so it's basically one of the best case scenarios for Giorgio, right?
Yeah. Because, now he's stuck with a Diamond Direwolf, which isn't much use without its effect.
Yeah.
It's got a very small amount of attack points.
And even though the effect is negated, like the destruction part of the effect, you can still only activate it once per turn.
Yeah.
That is the important thing. So you cannot simply like use the effect again and then still get rid of it.
Nope. Okay, yeah, he chooses to attack the Diamond Direwolf into Virgil. So he chooses to get these mirrors on the go, so he banishes Nekroz Cycle and the Great Sorcerer of the Nekroz. And then, so here's that traditional Exa combo that I was talking about earlier. So he can now special summon one of the banished monsters that he has already banished previously. So he's going to choose to get that Great Sorcerer back.
Yeah, that's like the one combo that is the reason why you're going to play that card, right?
Yeah, the main combo. Because it just allows you to recycle a bit more of your resources. So let's take a look at his options here. He's got so many cards now. He has a Kaleidoscope, Cycle, Unicorn, Bryanak. He's going to go in with this Kaleidoscope. Potentially he's going to be able to get like a Gungnir out or something to try and get rid of this Virgil, but Trishul is not on the cards because he doesn't have any in his hand. Giorgio doesn't have any cards in his hand.
Right. So that effect is not threatening him. It's
No.
the advantage of dropping all your cards on the field or in your graveyard. You're no longer, you can no longer be one of the many victims of Trishula.
Yep, exactly.
But it's still not the best position to be in.
Yep.
Okay, here's a Bryanak Search. And what is he going to go for here, Andrea? He seems to have all the pieces are falling into place for him here.
Yeah, so I think still he's going to be restricted by the Virgil. But let's see. So here's a Nekroz Cycle. He's going to summon Bryanak. Ah, okay, that's a cool way of getting rid of Virgil. He's going to be able to send Virgil back to the extra deck using the Bryanak effect, and then he's going to make a rank 4 play, which is going to be Abyss Dweller, and then Castell.
Oh, he's going for
that works
Castell.
too. Yeah. I thought that Abyss Dweller might be a bit better because he can then prevent his opponent stuff on his opponent's turn. But
Right.
Oh, it's okay. So he chooses to use Castell here.
I guess it's a slightly more offensive move.
Yep.
Oof. When you're behind, it's not exactly the card you want to draw. An upstart goblin.
No. So let's see what he got here.
Just set a card and play is right back to Andrea Zanotti.
So let's just see what this card is that he drew. A skill drain. That's not much use in this particular situation.
No, not at all. And can Giorgio just shuffle up already? Is it going to be enough for Andrea?
Let's see. I don't think he's not got anything that he can. Oh yeah, 5/7. That's possible. Okay, I was just having a look and see what mirrors he had. I didn't know that he had a Nekroz mirror. So yeah, that's going to be the game, I think. Unless he has another absolute king blackjack that I didn't see, but I don't think so. That's plenty of damage on the field, and Giorgio only has 5,700 life points. Not really much to say here. That's
That's pretty much it. All of that is going to connect, and we are going through the procedure of writing down every single change in life points for whatever reason. I'm not sure.
no, that attack's okay, and I guess that attack's okay as well.
Yeah. I don't know if this has ever worked where you're like forcing your opponent to write down every change in life points, and then after the second attack you might get tired of doing that. And that's your one out in that situation. You're like, okay, we're gonna write it down. We have to write it down, everything. And we see some of the side decking actually.
Oh, that's funny.
And yeah, like we said, we do not have the deck list for whatever reason. They got lost in that slightly larger break that we had between the top 16 and the top 8. But it's not much of a problem because you know what Burning Abyss is usually siding against Nekroz.
Yeah.
Oh, actually they just showed up magically.
Magically out of nowhere.
All right. So Burning Abyss, Giorgio Dascal. He does have Mistake, 3 of them, in fact.
Yeah.
So that is good against Nekroz.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So he's playing just one blackjack.
Okay, that's that other question that we had.
Yeah.
And for Andrea Zanotti, um, we don't have we have Denko Sekas in the side deck.
Retaliating C.
Yeah, quite a few options here.
Quite possible.
Breakthrough skill, Vanity's Emptiness, Royal Decree, 2 copies of that. Deck Lockdown. I remember seeing that before.
Deck Lockdown.
And Typhoon, yeah. All right.
Okay, so here we have Book of Moon, Karma Cut. I don't know, that's Italian, so I don't know what.
Ordine Reale sounds like Royal Decree.
Yeah? That sounds crazy considering he's playing so many trap cards. But yeah, so moving on, he has 3 mistakes, 2 effect veilers.
Oh no, sorry, it's Royal Command.
Royal Command, okay.
Royal was correct, but Decree not so much.
Yeah, so that's not much use here. 2 effect veilers, the 3 mystical space runes, and 2 mind crush. So, Giorgio Dascal here is probably going to be putting all 3 of these mystical space runes in. A lot of people might think, like, whoa, what's going on there? Why is he putting mystical space runes in? The Nekroz player isn't playing any trap cards, but he is playing Royal Decrees in the side deck. So, if he doesn't have any mystical space runes for those Royal Decrees, then suddenly he just doesn't have any options because all of the trap cards in his deck are useless.
Yeah.
So he's definitely going to be putting in those mystical space typhoons, I think.
And this is once again, this is the situation of trying to stay 1 step ahead of your opponent, and sometimes when you're 3 steps ahead of your opponent, he is actually being in the better position.
Yeah, he's right behind you.
Yeah, you don't want to get too far ahead. It's basically also what happens sometimes prior to tournaments, where you're trying to figure out what the best deck for the tournament is, and then you're looking at the card pool and you're like, okay, one of the best decks to build, for example, could be Nekroz. So I'm going to build my deck that is going to beat Nekroz, but everybody else is going to do that too. So I'm going to beat something that is going to beat the deck that is going to beat Nekroz. And then sometimes if you give the competition too much credit, they don't go with the deck that beats Nekroz, they just go with Nekroz.
Yep.
And suddenly you're in a terrible, terrible day and you're not going to have a lot of fun.
No. Well, yeah, so it's just, I mean, when I play test for an event, it's just a matter of playing as many different people with as many different decks as possible. So we seem to have a sleeving issue here. Just gonna put a new sleeve on that card. Doesn't get damaged during play.
All right, and here is the quick shuffle for the second game, and you can see Ryan on the right in the background and Andrea on the left. Not the player Andrea in the front, but Andrea, our judge, on the left. Those 2 guys have to stand on their feet half the day and enter those cards. And sometimes it's really hard, this job, when you see great plays and you feel like, wow, I really can't contain myself, but you should. You have to wait until the end of the round to love.
Yeah, usually when we get pretty excited about a game, those guys come running in here afterwards, like